whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hooker force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody, gather up close everybody. Kani move that body, kani move that body.
Ai, kia whakarongo pi kari kari anō ngā taringa e hoa ma. Nau mai hoki mai ki te punua pāho taringa e rere atu nei, iko nei i te ipurau, situated in the bustling metropolis of Te Awamutu, under the auspices of Te Wānanga o Te Aroa. And here we are today, your presenters, myself, Praone Gloin, Te Puaheiri,
tēnā koutou.
and Erica
Tēnā
Sinclair.
koutou.
Yes, here we are. I was practicing my radio voice. And kia ora e hoa ma, tēnā tātou.
Tēnā tātou, tēnā
Kia ora.
koutou.
Tēnā
Kia ora.
tātou.
Tēnā koutou.
Aye. And we're going to launch into our kiwaha. Kiwaha. And our kiwaha is hei a koe hoki.
Oh, you've really got some nerve.
You got
Bringing
a
that one up.
cheek.
Is that right?
You got a
Hei a
cheek.
koe hoki.
Hei a koe hoki.
Yeah, hei a koe hoki. You can also say ki a koe hoki.
Kia koe hoki.
Kia koe
Ki a
hoki.
koe hoki. And this is one that you would hear in Tūhoe. But is being normalised throughout
Ai,
because of kura reo
Aye.
and other kaupapa. And kei a koe te tikanga if you want to use it. If you've got another kiwaha, you know that's the same. Like we covered one not long ago with Rahui on
Aye,
our segment, our kaupapa and kingitanga, and it was puku kauana,
Puku kauana.
which means the same thing. So yeah, that's a Waikato one.
Ka pai.
Yeah, so hei a koe hoki. Koe nei tā tātou kiwaha i tēnei rā e hoa ma. Nau mai hoki mai ki tēnei kaupapa ara ko Tikanga 101.
Kia ora.
And our kaupapa today, we've given it the title Tikanga, Convenience, to be or not to be. The kaupapa is how in this day and age we compromise in a lot of situations our tikanga. And, you know, if we look at the root of the word te uho o te kupu nei, the origin of the word tikanga comes from tika,
Tika.
which is to be right, to do what is right, from a Māori world view, so with the Māori philosophy. Koe nei te tikanga. And while we practice, those of us that practice tikanga in our lives, and to some of you listening might be, you know, quite new, this kōrero, there are times, instances where we've had to change some of our tikanga
Kia ora.
to go with the times. And we've talked about this. And one of the sayings from one of the wānanga I'm involved with is ka takahi e oe ku tikanga kia orai aku tikanga.
Kia ora.
We touched on that
Yeah.
in Patapatai
Yeah, which
episode.
is about letting go of tikanga, particular tikanga, or breaking those tikanga so other tikanga can live or
Ka pai.
survive.
Yeah.
But I think in this instance, we're looking at, I think we're going to go into the space of when we compromise tikanga just for the sake of compromising, or
Aye.
maybe because we're just too lazy.
Ai, kia ora.
Yeah, and maybe some of the things that have been born out of the time
Convenience.
and convenience,
Yeah, kia
to
ora.
be or not to be.
Kia ora.
And maybe to look at things when you're in a position to choose.
Ai.
And yeah, what's the right way to go about it? Yeah.
So you can use this, say, to... Because when you start talking about tikanga and you go to places or settings, you can start observing the tikanga, and perhaps this could be a tool to help you realise what's convenient and why some tikanga should be upheld. Because
Yeah.
I think the big thing for me is because tikanga has moved and is so malleable, we still want to maintain somewhat of the te kawa. You know, still maintaining its essence, which is derived from mātauranga Māori, to my understanding. Yeah, I guess that's one question I'd want to talk about is, well, how do we maintain the essence of mātauranga Māori, kawa, which we may be able to talk about later, but without tikanga just being Disney, you know, being Mickey Mouse. What's a good example of something that we can that everyone sees today that is tikanga, which has been
At this moment in time, I'm trying to think of some, but one is, I think, that's been born out of convenience, and I think we've touched on in a previous episode is, and I know it's come up in the question, is a whakatau or pōwhiri.
Yeah.
And I think how I explained it was the pōwhiri has all the bells and whistles, whereas a whakatau still ticks off that box of welcoming the people or the person and engaging in a ritual of encounter,
Kia ora.
but leaves out some of the things that are integral to a pōwhiri, i.e.
Wero.
wero, karanga,
Karanga.
the full whai kōrero.
The gold package, the premium.
Because in a whakatau, you see a lot of awards.
Aye.
They have a whakatau.
Yeah.
Or nights, events and things like that, where they'll have a karakia and a kaumātua or someone that's been, elected by the people or whoever will then come onto the stage and do a mihi to everybody.
Kia ora.
And that's it. And
Aye.
that's a whakatau. So kei te whakatau i
okay.
te iwi's welcoming them into the event or the kaupapa.
Yeah.
There's no karanga.
Yeah.
There's no pōwhiri.
Yeah.
There is an awaiata after he has spoken. Yeah, that's scaled down. That's scaled
That's
right
really
down.
scaled. Yeah,
And
'cause
because, in some whakatau, so in that sense, there's no call to reply. Is there a time where you can allow or where you should?
That's up to the person doing the whakatau,
Kia ora.
if there's going to be a reply or
Yep.
not.
So that's like, say you go to a whare, a marae, and mā te paipai, mā te taumata e whakatau e nā haere, e whakahaere, eh?
Yeah,
So it's up to the people of the house or the organisers
yeah.
to set what the whakatau is or how far it goes.
I've done it once on a marae, but it was due to the circumstances. So it was at the church service of Anzac Pikia,
Kia ora.
who passed away, and he had a huge
Big
tangihanga.
tangi.
Yeah,
Aye.
huge.
And on the day of his service, some of his whanaunga arrived, and I had been at the tangi through the duration,
Aye.
for the whole duration of the tangihanga, and some of his whānau arrived, and regardless of them travelling quite a way, they came on the last day, so there
Aye.
was a breach of tikanga there anyway.
Kia ora.
In our eyes, you shouldn't attend on the last day.
Yeah.
And, there's people that have mixed whakaaro about attending on, and that, again, that's a convenience, and we'll
convenience,
come
aye.
back to that
Aye.
in tikanga. So I got up before the service, and they sat, and I could see they were expecting to speak
Aye.
by the way that they sat and it wasn't a paipai, it was all the chairs put out
Kia ora.
for church. And I could see they expected they were going to get up to talk, to whai kōrero. And I done my mihi to them and said to them, me koro mā, e aro hātu ana hoi anō, ko whakatau, koe nei te wā o te karakia, no reira ko tāku he mihi ki a koutou, haere mai ki tā koutou, te maiti ki tā koutou, moko puna e takoto nei, engari ki a tahuri o tātou whakaaro ki te wāhingaro. Yes, I welcomed them, acknowledged them and said, come to your son,
Right.
your grandson, but we're getting on to karakia.
Yeah.
And I could have had a go at them actually
Yeah.
for coming at that time,
So
but
that
I
was
didn't.
like a polite way to say, oh, you've missed the boat
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
I've actually done it twice actually. I've done it again at Auntie Ma's tangi.
Aye.
We had some esteemed
Aye, tika.
manuhiri come, and for whatever reasons they couldn't come the days before. And again, I done the same thing. I said, well, kua tangi te pere.
Yeah.
So that's an example of where I've used whakatau because Tikanga has deemed it so.
Deemed it so. Kia ora.
Yeah, not because I'm in a rush. Looking at that again, if we look at that last day or the rā nehu, as some call it, koe ne te rā e tuku ai te tūpāpaku ki te rua kōiwi. So this is the day that the tūpāpaku or the deceased is interred in the rua kōiwi. And this is an expression you'll hear, te rua kōiwi, which is the... How tō whakapākeatanga i tērā?
The bone hole. The bones hole.
That doesn't sound very good.
It doesn't sound very... Te rua kōiwi. Yeah.
You got te rua kōiwi, te rua whakaki is another one.
Te rua
And
whakautu.
te rua haunuku.
Aye. Te rua haunuku.
Yeah,
aye.
te rua haunuku. Anyway, so this is the last day. Now, a lot of people, they're choosing not to go to the tangi.
So the tangi as in the 3 days
Yes.
prior to the
3
burial
or
day.
however many days
Yeah.
before the actual burial day. They choose to come because it's more convenient to them, and they turn up on the bell,
Yeah,
right?
just for the service.
Just for the service,
yep.
and then they leave.
The
Now,
funeral, to the funeral. Yeah.
I know, and I've spoken to people about this that do that, and I said, well, why do you come? Well, I come to pay my respects, so I've done what I need to, and then I go. They don't see through the full tikanga. Now, they've put themselves in a quandary because if they do stay, they'll be berated
Yeah, because they just turned up at the end for the feed.
for the kai.
Yep.
So in their mind, they're going to go. But, a big part of the tangihanga is for the whānau pani or the kirimate, depending which iwi you are, which are the deceased immediate family relations.
The widowed and the...
Yeah, that are there, the orphans or,
Aye.
the bereaved family,
To process.
to process and to see when you come in and to connect with you, to hongi, so you can cry together and you can embrace one another. That is all part of the tangihanga.
He kanohi kitea.
Yeah, whereas usually at the service time there's so many people, and while the whānau pani may see them and they may be acknowledged as being seen, there's that loss of connection and that sharing of aroha, of your aroha that you've taken to the tangi, to the funeral service. So it's actually, you're doing it for your own needs,
Yeah.
not for
Yeah.
the...
I get you.
Yeah, not for the needs of the whānau pani, because you're going there to pay respect to the deceased, but at the same time, you're also
But for
there.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite selfish.
Yeah, it puts you in
yes.
that quandary. Yeah, tika.
Yeah. So that's one example that's happening on Rānehu. And the other one is, and there'll be people out there that will debate this and not agree, but a lot of our urupa that whānau are choosing to bury their deceased are quite far from where they lay through the tangihanga. So they decide to have the hākari before they bury the tūpāpaku.
Tūpāpaku,
And this is the interpretation that some people, and I've talked to my auntie about this. So we had an incident where one of our marae, they had shut their doors because they had some renovations going on. So they were using our marae. And while we're all related, this is my tūranga waiwai I'm talking about. And I heard that they were going to have the hākari before
The burial.
because they were taking the tūpāpaku into town, which is only 15
And it's
minutes
not that
away.
far.
That's
if
not
you know
that
the
far,
proximity
yeah.
It's not that far.
of these two marae and the town, yeah.
And so I said to them, well, I want to have a hui about this. So we had a hui, and I questioned, where's this thinking come from? Oh, well, that's what we do. That's what we've been told to do up there. If the tangi's in town, then we have to kai. Why? Well, people have given koha. And I said, the koha...
Is a koha. It's not a
koha.
payment with an expectation.
Exactly. There's no expectation attached to that koha. There shouldn't be.
He whakaro.
He whakaro tērā. And I talked about tapu and noa, and I talked about the tangihanga process. And I said, it's the whānau pani that really, they are the whaukai
Kia ora.
of that process after the burial, because the hākari, or huri takapau, as some say, roto i a mātou,
Kia ora.
koina tētahi wāhanga roto i te huri takapau. That part is to whakanoa
Yeah.
i te whānau that have been in the whare mate or in the whare that have been with the deceased for the duration of the tangihanga. So it's about lifting off that tapu from the tangi
from
process.
Them.
Yeah.
From the whānau.
Not from the manuhi. It's not to feed everybody that's come
Yeah,
to the,
yeah.
That's the main thing about it. And then I remember one of our kuia, see now, we all go to the urupa. And it'd be interesting to hear some other iwi if there's some kōrero out there. But according to our kuia, where our urupas in relation to our marae it's about maybe a 20-minute drive. So again, not that far. But in the old days, it was, over an hour
far,
on a
yeah.
horse.
Cart,
Yeah, over an hour. And she said only the grave diggers would go up with the tūpāpaku and maybe a few from the whānau pani. Everybody would stay at the marae. And they would wait until the whānau pani returned, and then they would eat together.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
they're still waiting and making sure they're doing that at the end, regardless of whether everybody's going or not.
Yeah.
So you can see how Tikanga has changed since.
Yeah.
Now here's another level of convenience. Same sort of take or kaupapa again, the last day. So someone's come to the tangihanga, they've been to the tangihanga, they want to come back for the karakia on the service day, we call it. They come back, they attend that, they go to the burial, and they decide, well, I'm going to leave now. I just wanted to come here for that. Now, the tangata whenua have gone out of their way, even though it's about the whakanoa and all that, they've gone out of their way to prepare. And I've been to a few tangihanga now where they've seen all these numbers and they've gone all out to provide for these numbers, and not even half of those that were at the service return for the hakari or stay for the hakari. So, these are some of the examples of compromise, how we're compromising our tikanga to be or not to be.
And that's when you start getting grey areas in terms of, so Praone talked about who the hakari is for, or what the hakari is for, and whereas we talk about manaakitanga and it's about the manuhiri in that sense. But the idea is leaned towards more of that sense than te taha whakanoa i te kirimate i te whānau pani. Yeah. So these are all the things that one must, or you want to try and keep in mind when deciding to go to a tangihanga. Yeah. We touched on this in tangihanga, our last episode, and these times, what's actually happening, what's going through the ringaweras, what's going through their organisation, them organising it, what's going through the kirimate. And it's true, it's not as personal as if you see a friend or a whānau, a friend of the family in the crowd of many on that day. I think a lot of people stay shy away because if they can make it in those times during those first few days, they get shy of the tikanga. They get scared of the procession, the proceedings and the marae.
Yes.
But there's nothing more warming of the heart to see a friend or a whanaunga turn up and to come on to the marae. Yeah. When you're on the other side. And I'm sure people out there have experience where they see a whanaunga and it's like, yep, come on. According to the kawa or the tikanga of that marae.
Yeah. Right. I see what you're saying. So some people might feel intimidated to go in the first few days, maybe because they don't know how strong their connection is to who it is.
Because they're whakama
about doing things like the pōwhiri process. Good point.
Yeah, so if that's all that's holding you back, then I think that's a very small thing to overcome, especially if you're going to pay your respects. What does that mean to pay your respects? Yeah. Just to turn up on the last day or to go through that in order to pay your respects? I think that's the biggest, a big thing of paying respect is to go via the front door. Yeah. I mean, we had that in a friend of ours, his father had passed away. And I couldn't make the tangihanga because it was a school friend said, we're going to go on the day. And I said, I'm going now. Oh, wait for me. And like, I'm going now because I can't make the other days. Yeah. And because I was comfortable enough to walk on whai kōrero and pay my respects in that sense. Yeah. And so I was happy to do that. But I told my mates, come with me if you want. Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, then, well, you fellas go to the tangi.
We travelled, this is different, but again, I think it was people expecting this person I travelled over to China with Te Wakahuia one year, myself and Te Kahautu, Maxwell. And we had karakia before we went through the gates, at the departure gates and at the airport. And he was asked to do the karakia. Well, mohi ki taku hoa. He wasn't going to do a half one. No. Well, he done a full ringatu karakia.
I've been to a wedding that he has conducted.
Yeah, and he done the whole thing. Well, everybody's looking at their watches. Not because everyone's thinking, oh man, our plane's going, we're going to have to rush through customs. I was like, well, you can't do anything. We're in this karakia now, and the bro's not going to, cut his karakia short. And I thought, we're thinking of, because, thinking of all these blessings we're getting from this karakia. So time is definitely a big thing in terms of how tikanga has changed.
Well, we are governed by time a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we have to fit a lot of things into the hour and the minute. Whereas sometimes it's like, hey, aha te wā.
Yeah, so time is a big reason why we compromise some of our tikanga.
Going back to the tangihanga, last week I was learning about kakahu taratara, as I was mentioning to you both before. And you don't really see that these days. So back in the day, if someone was grieving, they might wear specific kakahu, not the same as korowai, but these kakahu were woven to look dishevelled.
Yep.
And that was kind of like a physical embodiment of how the person was feeling inside.
Kia ora.
But nowadays, if you're in that grieving state, people wear black.
Aye.
Is that a modern compromise?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's been a convenience, yeah.
But I'll talk about my nanny. So she was staunch to kakahu taratara. And the clothes that she put on at the start of a tangi, she would wear through the whole tangi.
Yeah.
She would wear that same kakau and she wouldn't wash through the tangihanga. Koe nā e tahi o nā tikanga. So although she didn't wear the traditionally woven kakahu taratara, she referred to her clothes she had on as kakahu taratara.
Yeah.
And particularly in our whānau, our hapu, but it's diminished since a lot of our old people have gone on. If you had a mate in your whānau that you would carry for the 12 months, and we've talked about this with Rangi and on some other episodes, but in our whānau, if we had a mate, my kuia, my mum, even though she had to be told a lot of the times, because mum went, what are we doing? What are we wearing? But definitely my kuia, my auntie, and those that knew, they would wear black the whole year.
Yeah.
That's their kakahu taratara. Didn't matter what we went to, if it was a birthday, any function, they would wear black. And everybody would know that they kei te kawe rātou I te mate, I roa a rātou. But yeah, those ones should change.
Okay. But for the tangi.
The tangi of the person for whom those kakau taratara were, which would normally be someone very close. So these were my uncles and aunties.
Yeah.
And and I remember it was a saying, I remember them saying, oh, you know, ko muti te tangihanga, oh, I can get out of my kakau taratara now.
Yeah.
That's what they'd say. So definitely it's a new thing, the wearing of the black clothes, but with the old thinking, it's still got the old thinking behind it.
So there you go as an example. You're
still evolution.
You're still maintaining the mātauranga Māori within that tikanga, because you could probably imagine pre-kupe or, you know, pre-Aotearoa, what was the kakahu taratara before that. It's just an assumption or a guess that it would have differed by the time it had got here. And what kakahu taratara was in that point of time. So it's still maintaining that same whakaaro. I think, yeah. That's probably a good one. Trying to get out of the tangihanga because it's so easy. It's probably one of the biggest examples of tikanga.
Well, absolutely. Any tangihanga in any culture is where that is the bastion of where you hold on to your traditions. It doesn't matter what culture it is, and you will see them in their fullest.
Tika.
So yeah, there's lots of examples in tangihanga, but you're right, there's other places too. You can talk about the compromise of, we talked about takahia ku tikanga. So I'll tramp on my tikanga so my tikanga lives. And another one I've heard is waiho tikanga I te kāinga. So leave your tikanga at home. And this was a conversation we had. You go and stay in a hotel and there's no drinking water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or you got to get your kettle water from the bathroom.
From the bathroom.
That's what I mean. There's no drinking. There's no...
Yeah, so tikanga ki te kāinga home.
So, and that's when you think, oh... And that's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's bad's going to happen to you, but are you going to be okay with it?
Yeah.
Can filling your jug up in the sink of the bathroom?
Will your Earl Grey be just as? But ane tētahi, will you still brush your teeth with that water?
Yeah.
If you're in there brushing your teeth, is it as bad for? Well, man, it's just a thing to put things into perspective.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
a cup of tea with it, but you won't feel right with it, but you'll still brush your teeth in there.
Yeah.
Koira.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
quite for lots of things. I have to. I've learnt to tolerate people
Yeah, tika.
in all sorts of contexts.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean tolerate them? Have they been...
Well, what people do, and just to appreciate that's
how they
they've been
do
brought
it.
up,
What
and
they
they
do.
don't actually see anything wrong with. You know,
Yeah.
Like I was watching a movie, and of course, an American movie, and it's a school setting, and they're sitting on the desks, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that's not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
to you,
Yeah, and then we had this conversation another time. You know, you were talking about not sitting on the table, and I says, what about when people put food on the chair?
Aye.
Oh, why would you do that?
Well, say you're going through the drive-through, and you grab your
right,
korepana,
on the chair
and
and
you
you're
put it
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
a chair, just
And,
a chair.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, exactly. You're shopping,
Or
Yeah,
something,
my
yeah.
water bottle.
or
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you go to events and there's no tables.
Yeah.
You know, there's just chairs sitting around, so people put their kai on the chair next to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like at the night
yeah.
market or something.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
eat off the chair in front of you. I've
Yeah,
never ever
yeah,
done it.
yeah.
And then, but I remember Hariru saying, well, it's that person's choice
Yeah.
to do that with their kai. But when you sit on a table, that belongs to everybody.
Kia ora.
You know, sort of thing. I was like, oh, yeah. Again, see, that's a compromise. You're compromising your tikanga. You're
Yeah.
making a compromise for it.
This time
Yeah.
it's all right. This time it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I put a tweet up the other day. I was in the Koru Club.
Ooh, Koru Club.
Koru Club. And this older gentleman, well, he was a korowa, engari korowa Pākehā. So he was there, and he was dressed quite snazzy, and he was sitting there, was a few chairs away from me, and I just heard that, you know that sound of nail clippers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're kidding. And I looked over and he was cutting his nails.
In the Koru lounge.
Yeah, just sitting there like it was like normal as for him to do.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to go and say to him, you know, I thought, oh man, should I go and talk to him? But my compromise was, well, I'm going to move over here.
Yeah.
Because the people next to him, I could see, didn't really bother them. You know, but to me, so yeah, that was an example of me respecting it's a hard one.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So you can't go around going, hey, that's wrong. Go into a food hall, walk into a food hall and goes, oh, that's wrong. It's like,
Yeah.
You know, same. You were talking about brushing your teeth with the water. Well, you know, we would never wash clothes with tea towels.
aye.
But, you know, a lot of us still use the same washing machine, maybe
Yeah.
not at the
Tika.
same time.
So how far? Yeah. So where does
Yeah.
But
where's the
then-
line? Yeah.
I remember a lot of our kaumata would never put the tea towels in the washing machine.
There's the hand
They would
wash.
they'd hand wash them in the kitchen sink.
My nan used to
True.
do that.
Yeah. They'd never go in the washing machine.
True.
Whereas I've been to someone's house where everything's in the washing
yeah, you
machine.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's tikanga, man. And a lot of times it's in public areas, that we have to sort of compromise, or you need to tread carefully if that's what you want to adhere to.
One that I've observed before, I used to work in a retail store. And we had some Asian, I think I might have mentioned this, I don't know. We had some Asian customers in the store, and they wanted to try on some kakahu. That was cool. And then I went down to go check to see if everything was all good. And I'd noticed they'd all left their shoes outside the changing rooms.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool
That's
to
the
see.
tikanga, yeah.
Yeah. Because our normal shop floor was concrete, but in the changing room area was carpet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
Koera
left
pē tā
their
rātou
shoes out
tikanga.
on the concrete
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Koera pē tā rātou tikanga I te kāinga, you know.
Yeah.
And because I know, especially in a lot of Asian or even Japanese settings, you have shoes for different areas. You have house shoes.
Yeah.
I had a mate, it was not really, well, it was her tikanga, but it was more about she was quite, into hygienes, but paranoid, I think. And if we went to stay at a marae, you should take shower jandals
Oh, yeah.
to wear in the shower.
You
Yeah,
know,
nah,
So
you
you
know
know,
some
thing.
of those.
You
some of
pick
those
up anything in the shower.
You get tinia
Yeah.
on your.
Say, and you know,
They have to do that in the Navy. My brother had to get jandals just for that.
yeah, Or, you know, what a lot of people do in the shower.
Well, you know,
Communal showers.
But that's another practical side of tikanga
Yeah.
Kia ora.
and tapu. As to, hei tiaki i te tangata.
Yeah. He tā hawa
You
e
know?
ta, yeah.
So, but I thought, so we go to say, cause you got your shower jandals? And if she's listening, she'll know it too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, some of those ablution floors, you don't know why they're wet.
Yeah.
What about shoes in the wharenui? Now you said there was one that you talked
Yeah, I
about.
was just reading an example online before, and they said because where they are, they must be in the deep south, that because it's so freezing there, apparently they're allowed to wear their shoes in their wharenui. Now, this is a big no-no.
Most places.
Most places, yeah.
At most places.
Yeah, and I've been to Otako Marae. You can wear your shoes in the
Ai,
whare.
ka pai.
Yeah, down there. And, you know, in Te Arawa, the men anyway,
men,
can
aye.
wear their shoes in the whare.
I have been to a wharenui opening, and they told everyone to leave their shoes on and to wear them on the brand new carpet of the wharenui to,
Takahi.
yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to wear it in, to
Yeah.
wear the whare in.
Yeah. Well, while you're on openings, that's that's a compromise there.
Tika.
Oh,
So,
really?
you know, so traditionally we done them early in the morning before the sun came up.
Yeah, this one was super early in the morning.
Well, a lot are choosing to do them at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I have been to a 10 o'clock one,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when they
They're
told me
like-
the time, I was like, hey, aren't you supposed to do that when the sun comes up? And the sun unveils it?
And the kōrero I've heard is, oh, well, you know, it's too early for the mokopuna to get up. And, you know, my whakaaro was, well, I think they'd buzz out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those are some compromises that we're doing that really we don't need to do.
Yeah. I mean, we do that too because a lot of tangihanga, it's such a long day that they pack a little lunch for the kids.
You went back to Tangihanga.
We went to pack.
You did.
I went to lunches. Nah. Yeah.
Nā, e tika tērā, o any hui, not just Tangihanga.
Anyway, yeah.
There's
They're
lots
worrying
of
about
hui we
they're
pack.
worrying about the length of the thing and the tamariki, and it's like they won't die.
Yeah,
So, he pai e nei kōrero rero.
Aye.
We could actually, you know, go on a bit.
But the tikanga
Longer.
has to fit within our time. So
Koina hoki. Koina te tikanga.
Koe nei te tikanga o
Yep,
Taringa.
compromising it for time.
I runga i tō mātou aroha kia koutou. So yeah, koina e tahi kōrero e te iwi, and you know, might want to extend the kōrero on Facebook. You might have any questions
Yeah,
or
you might have
things,
some
so
more, yeah.
engage on the Taringa page. Tērā, tērā. Whiti te marama i te pō, tia hoi o mai koe. And ana e te waiata, Whiti te marama, another one of the wonderful waiata composed by the late Hirini Melbourne. Whiti te marama i te pō. Whakarongo mai.
Whiti ana e, te marama i te pō. Whiti ana e, te marama i te pō. Whiti te marama.
whakarongo pi kari kari.
I heard that he didn't compose this, or he got the inspiration was he was walking back to his house after a party in Ruatoki and he cut through the urupa or something.
Oh.
Te.
Yeah, and he fell over and the moon was shining.
Ano ne korona.
He looked up. He didn't swear at the moon though. He was, you know,
He didn't even say,
marama.
"Hei a koe hoki."
So,
Hei a koe hoki.
koe rā tātā te waiata.
koe hoki.
Ka pai. Yeah, I love te waiata.
And hei tautoko i ngā kōrero kua puta. And yeah, wow, actually, because Te Puaheiri went there, talked about rona, and this is a tikanga kia mahara ki te he o rona.
Kia ora.
It's a whakatauki. And you can rangahau. You have a rangahau about what you think that means. Kia mahara ki te he o rona.
Kia hoki mai rāno ngā kau.
Tau katoa. Hoi anō, ko mātou tēnei e mihi atu nei.
Ai.
Ai.
E hoa mā, tēnā tātou.
Tēnā koutou.
O tira, e te iwi, kia ora hui tātou katoa, i runga i te kaupapa nei o Taringa, ko mātou tēnei e mihi atu nei, hei kona mai rā.
Me whakarongo pi kari kari. Gather up close everybody buddy. Taringa, taringa, taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki yo. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Kōrero flowing out the hookah force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, ā, nā te māngai pāho i tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe. Taringa, whakarongo mai.